Hey, what's up, Dance Fam? Welcome to Dance Chats with me, your host, Ashley Rich. This podcast is exclusively for dance parents. So, from choosing dance studios to tips on supporting your dancer, this is your one-stop shop to help you navigate your child's dance journey with wisdom, grace, and purpose. So, with that, let's jump in. What's up, Dance Fam? This is Ashley Rich, and this is Dance Chat Podcast. I am so excited because it's been a minute, a long minute. We've been on a little bit of a break because, life happens. And although I would love to think that I could do it all, that's just not reality. And I've really learned that these past couple of months. On this episode, we're going to fill you in with all that's been happening since my last episode. There's cool new things and just some things that I want to share with you guys to hopefully encourage you for this new year. But before we jump in, I decided to have one of my besties on this episode because a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about today, she was actually there for. So I thought it'd be cool for you guys to hear not just my perspective, but another amazing perspective, this human that I love so much. And her name is, drum roll. There's no drum roll. I just want to be dramatic. Katie LaDuca, guys. She's back.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We're just so excited that you're here. And I'm excited about all the things that we're going to talk about. That's what I'm pumped about.
Yeah.
Are you ready to just jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay. And also to my dance fam, I really want you to stay tuned this whole episode because I have a special announcement at the end and I am super pumped to tell you all about it, but I need you guys to stick in there with us, okay? First, I wanted to jump into a recap because it is January 3rd, and this is when we're recording this, and I feel like it's really cool to kind of reflect on the last year. And although we did take a break from our podcast, we did not take a break for ARH Dance. And ARH Dance, if you don't know, is my dance company. It's the umbrella of everything we do. And I feel really grateful for what we got to do last year in 2022. So 2 major highlights that I wanted to discuss, because like I mentioned before, Katie was at both, was Summer of Purpose and Purpose University. Dum, dum, dum. So I wanted to jump into Summer of Purpose first. And if you don't know, Summer of Purpose was our summer intensive that we hosted in New York City. And it was epic. I thought it was epic. I thought it was amazing. And I thought it'd be cool if we kind of just shared some special moments from myself and Katie. So, Katie, how about you go first? What are 2 highlights that you had from Summer of Purpose?
So it's hard to pick just 2, but
I know.
But one of the major highlights for me was the video. And not the product. It's about how we got to the video and what they learned throughout it and seeing them make really smart choices and decisions come day of, because there were so many things that were going on and they learned all this choreography in such a short amount of time, which is also what they're going to have to do if they go on to be professionals in the business. So it was really cool to watch them flourish in that way. And then just to watch, for me, it was really cool to watch my students from different areas of my life come together and be in the same room, because I just love them all so much. And to see everybody in that space mixed with people they didn't know and making new connections and new friends. And they cannot speak highly enough. They had so much fun. And they are literally, I have kids that are moving vacations around to come back. They really, they loved it so much. And so did I.
Oh my gosh. That makes me want to cry. No, I completely agree. Wow. Well, before I share my highlights, I think one thing I love that Katie talked about was like the community aspect, essentially. Like she had students that attended, I had students that attended, and we had students that we had never met. Which I just thought was really cool because it was 3 days of these dancers coming together, working together, learning video choreography so fast, but also having other technique classes, working with other choreographers that we really love that we're a part of it and really encourage them, not just like through choreography at them or just through technique. It was like a whole experience. And that's why we did call it Summer of Purpose the Experience, because we want them to experience the whole nitty gritty of it, of what we're trying to like pump into the dance world, which is that you can be purposeful, you can be positive, you don't have to be cutthroat. You don't have to compare yourselves to anybody because God created you to be who you are. And I hope that everybody that went felt that they felt like they could be themselves, because that's the atmosphere we try to create. And I think, honestly, that kind of segues into what my favorite part was seeing all these dancers be themselves. And I'll never forget the first day when we're talking to them and telling them, like, this is what we're going to be doing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of having a blank stare, like, wait, this is like what we're doing. I think it was just a shock to the system that this is a space that they did not have to compare themselves, that
Mhm.
they didn't have to strive, that they were allowed to be them fully and to grow in that. I think that like that is why we were able to get that video done, because everybody was their best selves. Everybody was at the top of their game because we weren't trying to compare. Like you need to do this better than what we weren't even using that language. It was like all purpose centered. What is your reason for being here? What is your reason for your gift? And I think when you use language like that, it makes people more aware and grateful for their gift and they want
Mhm.
to step up just as like an
Mhm.
automatic thing. And we take it off of us, you know? So I thought that was great. That was something that's amazing. And then honestly, my second thing is I can just be super transparent. Priscilla is my lovely assistant who does all the emails. So if you went to Summer of Purpose or if you've ever done anything A Rich dance oriented, Priscilla is in direct communication. She is my right hand and she has been for a few years now. So I think it was amazing because behind the scenes, Priscilla and I had so much going on life wise, and neither one of us live in New York. I used to live in New York, so that's why I decided to do it there. And obviously, I love New York, but I live in Rhode Island. Priscilla was living in Texas at the time, graduating a program. And so there's so much going on that I just thought it was amazing to see how faithful God was in that. Is that we really were working so hard, like late nights over the phone, trying to figure out how to do this. This is our first intensive ever. And just to see like our dream come forth and like actually happen was pretty epic. So it just like strengthen my faith and like, just gotta trust God in these things because sometimes it doesn't look good.
I know.
Sometimes it looks a little rough. Like we had to learn so many things along the way, but we're like, wow, when we got there, I literally looked at Priscilla was like, it's happening. Like we've been talking about this for a few years. It's like it actually happened.
Mhm.
It's here. So I think that that was really special. Like it just reminded me not to give up. And even though things look a little rough sometimes, like just persevere. So those were my two highlights. So Summer of Purpose, you have to be there. We're going to put info out really soon, later in January, about dates and all of that. So you have to be there this year. Mhm. It means something special for the college students this year too, because there were some college kids that came and I was really inspired by that. And I was like, we have to have like a college division. So stay tuned for that as well. But the second high point of 2022 for us was Purpose University. And if you don't know Purpose University, I just love it. It's a program that we created during the pandemic and it started on Zoom. Obviously, we were all on Zoom and we were doing one-on-one privates and it was a mentorship program essentially. So they're getting dance classes on Zoom, mentorship, and then having a community dance class once a month with the other students in the program. And I loved it. I thought it was really cool. And honestly, a lot of those students that we got during that time are still with us and still come to certain events we put on. And it's just nice to see them thrive in their own individual dance lives. But I decided I wanted to change it into a studio boot camp because I felt like it was great doing one on ones. And we still do offer that. But I also wanted to offer it to studios because, like I said, I saw a lot of transformation with my one on ones, but I was like, is this going to work in a studio setting? I don't know. And the answer was yes. We did it at a few studios this summer and it was really cool. I loved it. It's basically like a week long intensive at these studios. And for the last one I did, I wanted Katie to come along because I thought it'd be really cool. We had a few age groups and oh, it was just so cool seeing this studio. I feel like the whole studio was like brought back to their purpose of why they started. And it wasn't even about me and Katie. Like we were just there
Yeah.
doing what God asked us to do.
Yeah.
Like just staying focused on like, this is what we believe. This is what we pray about. Let's go. Let's go for it. And just showing up and like showing up as what we had for each day for them. But to see the transformation was amazing. So, Katie, what were your highlights from that week?
I think just the growth in general from Monday to Friday. Like, I think I felt as though they were really starting to come out of their shells and love themselves for who they are and celebrate that together. It was cool. I felt like by the time Friday rolled around, it was a big celebration of this like newfound love and connection and confidence with not only God but themselves.
Yes.
That was by far the highlight for me.
Okay. I love that. Hmm. Honestly, I think that the highlight for me was watching the studio owner and one of their main teachers watch them in the showcase at the end. Because we did a little like showcase of all of their combos that they learned during the week and watching their faces. It was just like so much joy. And I think it just renewed why they do this. Because obviously, if you're a teacher or a studio owner or a program director, you know how it is. Sometimes you get burnt out and you kind of lose like your why because you're in the nitty-gritty of planning and all the behind the scenes things that happen, the planning of dances, choreography, competitions, and programming detail, all these things. It's so nice to be able to step back and watch your students thrive. And I think for them, just watching them, I'll never forget their faces. I was emotional and seeing them all come together as a community again. And just like, not that they had not been a community, but I think it's nice to have an outside person come in or people come in and that are like, no, you guys have a great thing going on here and throw encouragement and pump love and all of these things into their program. It was just really epic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm excited. I know that Purpose University, we're going to do some studios this year, and I'm excited to continue and see all these students and the studio owners and teachers like really benefit from it. So, yeah, Miss LaDuca, I wanted to see what you've been up to because I know that there's some like really cool things that you're up to, and I wanted you to share with the people because I love seeing you thrive in life.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel like God's really been blessing me lately, and I've been really busy in the best kind of way. But recently I started choreographing for the Girl Band Project. It is a group of Broadway performers when they're not in shows that come and they gig around the city. And they do a bunch of the famous girl band covers. So um, the the person who actually reached out to me to choreograph the show, he has the boy band project and he was doing that. And it was through a mutual friend and social media that he saw my work
Mhm.
and reached out. And that's how I got the job. And I think n- I, the thing that I'm most grateful for is not really the job itself, it's the people. I just like know that these people are supposed to be in my life at this moment. So I think like that is a better and bigger reward than, the stuff that comes with it. Obviously it's a job, right? Like in products, we did a video and we have a show at 54 Below, which is really exciting. And, I choreographed the whole show pretty much. And it's about like 30 to 40 minutes long. And
Wow,
yeah,
you go, Katie.
I'm really proud of it. So I'm just really thankful.
I just want to just say this. Katie's so humble. She literally said the city. If you're not familiar with what the city is, and she's referring to New York City. Okay. That is a big deal. I just wanted to say that for a minute, but the city, like it's like down the street. No, it's New York City. That's a huge deal. So I'm excited for you. The new thing that I am up to as of late is that I am working with some universities and I have done choreography. Last semester was really cool. I was teaching a few courses at two schools. And honestly, I feel like I have learned so much in the last few months about being a teacher obviously in a new setting, which is the university level, and also just new ways to teach to connect to different age groups. And something that has been really interesting to me is like, hey, what can we teach our students before they get to the college level? So I think that that's something that I've really been wrestling with to better equip them, because these dance programs are intense and they do require a certain kind of character to be able to, grow in these programs. And so I'm definitely going to be trying to help more with studios on that front. But I think something that's kind of different is that, at the college level, the
Mm.
students are Hmm. They're more self-reflective. They're just more grateful to be there, and they definitely, do so much to get into these programs that has been really cool just to see them dance from a place of gratitude. I'm not begging them to work hard. They want to work hard. I feel like they've helped me grow as a teacher because they're hungry for
Mm.
like any and everything I
Yeah.
do that has to do with dance. And so
Yeah.
that has been really cool and just challenging me in different ways and making sure that I am educating them with the history of dance and where things come from. Like that has been really fun for me to continue my learning in that. And so that I can continue to show up and be better for them. That has been really great. And just being able, honestly, I think my favorite thing has been able to choreograph from a truly like authentic place of not worrying about a product, but worrying about the process and what they're learning. That has been something like really cool that I've loved. So that is what I am working on. I do feel super blessed because I prayed for this for a long time, be able
Mm.
to teach in the college aspect and the university aspect. So I'm just really excited and grateful for this next semester that starts in a few weeks. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
amazing. I'm so happy for you.
thank you. Well, I think it's really great. All these great things are happening dance wise and career wise, but the reality is that I took a break from the podcast because I had to like really just like jump back into my life and felt like I was just like doing all the things and I needed to like refocus on what is most important. And that is like obviously God first, my family second. And so I've definitely gone through a hard season life wise. And I know Katie has too, life wise. This is like separate from dance. And it's just like reminding me, I know like I've had some like some hard moments these last couple months, and I realized that I definitely am a human first, and I say this to my students all the time, "You're a human first, dancer second." But I think it's interesting when, God brings you to a place of humbleness where you really have to live what you're speaking. So I had to have some, like, really transparent moments with my students when I was going through all these hard moments of, like, I'm giving you, like, what I have, and this is my best, and I think in that, in my vulnerability, I'm learning that that connects people even more and that gives them the space to feel. It gives them the space to show up how they are each day. And even though they're not feeling it or they, whatever they are going through outside of the classroom, when they can come in and just like for that all that they have, I think it creates a more authentic space.
Mm.
And so for me, I just thought that it'd be nice to just kind of like talk about that for a minute and just kind of encourage anybody who's going through some hard times. And I know that there's a lot going on in the dance community now. And I think it's important to not just act like when you have the job, you have all these things that it's just lit. So that's just not the case. It's not real life at all. You're going to experience joy and mourning probably in the same season. You're like grief and happiness. Like these things do happen. One day you can be up, the next day you can be down. So I
Mm.
just wanted to take some time to ask Katie, I know too. I want to ask her like a few questions of like what's something that you've learned through some tough times or a tough season.
So I think like the biggest thing that I've learned is that you can't pour from an empty cup. So,
Yeah.
like I really learned how to take care of myself and set boundaries so that I could be my best, not only for me, but for my kids and for my employers and my castmates and my family and my friends. Like I can't be the best version of myself if I'm not the best version to me. Like I need to
Mm,
just love myself and give myself grace and really know in those moments that maybe I'm not feeling my best to just feel it and
Mm.
allow it to happen. And if I wanna sit on the couch and play my video game, like, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Everything
Yeah.
if I ignore my own needs, and this is what happened when I was, younger, teaching and choreographing, and I was just so burnt out ignoring what I needed that I started like, my relationship with my job became so tainted, and I was, like, starting to resent it, which is so weird because I love this so much. And it wasn't
Mhm.
until I started learning, going to therapy, really learning about these things and how to best take care of myself and be kind to myself and show up for myself. And the process of being able to show up for others became so much easier in that.
Mm. That's so good. Oh, I love that. And then what's something that you will learn that can help someone else out there? Like, what's something specific?
Um, I think that I would say, like, don't equate your happiness to a destination point because we all have
Mm.
goals and it's good to have goals. And I was just talking to my friend Bonji about this the other day. Like, I feel like we, especially as performers, are so goal oriented and aspirational, and I think that's amazing. I think having goals is so important. But it's when you say, "I'll be happy when this happens," right? I will be happy. Your happiness can't be contingent upon achieving something because you're going to miss life, and life is not promised. I
Mm.
so I've experienced a lot of grief. I lost my dad. I just recently lost my friend Stephanie. So I feel like when you go through that and really lose people that are close to you, you learn a lot and you start to move differently because
Mm.
you can't wait. You can't wait to be happy. What does happiness look like right now in these moments that you don't have all those things, And also like don't miss out on life. You're going to miss the living is in the process of getting there.
Yeah.
You can't wait to get there because anything can happen. So
Oh,
I think that's what I learned and what I try to always, say because I feel and also society is just like, everything has to be productive. And that's the way that, if you're not worth anything if you weren't productive today. I just had to unlearn that.
mm. Oh, oh my gosh, that was good. I mean, on that note, even I feel like that's been the biggest lesson I've learned is that I don't need to be productive. And I know like the tough season I've been having, it's like interesting because I wasn't able to do anything. But I just had to sit with myself, sit with what was going on and literally rest. And it's just interesting when you can't do anything, like as a dancer, it's if you've never been injured before and never like had this experience, I I mean, hey, you're lucky. But I know that I have been injured before. But I think the difference between this was that I refused to let myself be distracted. I wanted to sit in it. Like you said, I wanted to feel the feels because I really realized, like, no, this is all happening at the end of the day. This is all happening for a reason. And I don't want to miss this opportunity to really sit with myself and God and be like, all right, what do I need to learn from this? And that is so uncomfortable. Like I had days where I was crying because I was like, I can't, I can't be productive. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, you don't need to be. You don't need to hustle. You don't need to put content out. You don't need to do this. And if you've noticed, I've been very quiet on social media because I just was like, why I want to be intentional with why I'm doing things. And I don't want to do things just because I feel like I have to.
Mhm.
I'm like really trying to work on like the people pleasing aspects of my personality. So it's been a challenge, but I definitely agree. Like you don't have to be productive all the time. And when you do go through hard things of loss, grief, um, I think it's best to sit.
Mhm. That's
And
the
whenever
only way through it.
that's the only way through it. And I don't mean like literally sit all the time. You might not have the capacity to just like take off work or do these things, but you do need to make space for
Yes.
yourself to sit with yourself. And that might look different for everybody. For me, that was literally sitting on the couch and
Mhm.
like talking. I mean, therapy has been amazing for me. Like just being able to talk to an outside party, and like really having like a great support system has been important. But I know one thing that I was struggling with is that I try to be strong all the time,
Sure.
and like I felt like I had no choice but to be vulnerable and feel weak. And I was like, wow, I really am not strong.
Yeah.
And that is like a thing that I have had to be in my life, but I don't want to be that anymore. I've been thinking it's like they go around like I like that people want to be like have the soft life. That I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I subscribe to that because like I don't want to be perceived as so strong that I can handle it all because I can't handle it all. That's why I've got.
Right. And really what is strength? Is it so what is it? Is it masking everything so you could get through days?
Yes,
Is that it? Because strength is vulnerability and really working through it. That's strength.
yes, that is
Not the up
the
the
biggest thing.
ladder, you know?
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing I've learned that strength is vulnerability because what I thought was strength is not strength. Faking it and pretending like you're okay is
Mm-mm.
not okay. And just being like, hey, I actually really am struggling. I'm having a rough day. And some of us feel like we can't even say that. And I know that was a big hurdle for me that I had to work through was just like telling that my loved ones, like, I'm actually having a really tough time right now.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it looks great in my career, but personally, I feel I'm struggling. And I think those things are important. And I think we need to, like, I see you saying, like, check on your strong friends and all this. And sometimes that's harder than just making a phone call. But I think you can also, like, pray. I think that that's something that's like, if you don't feel comfortable then talking to people, then pray. Pray that you'll have a softer heart to be able to talk to people. Cause I literally had to say that prayer every day.
Mhm.
Help me to
Mhm.
have a softer heart that I won't feel like I have to hold the shield up, like I'm just so strong all the time that I'll be vulnerable enough. When I feel like when I was actually like when I let my guard down is when I felt like things started to change. And I started feeling like things turning around and I had better days and I felt better. And I think it's a process. Some days are amazing, other days
Yeah.
are challenging, but I think it's continuing to do the work within with yourself and God and those who are appointed to your life to walk through life with you. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
oh, oh my gosh. Guys, this is why I wanted Katie on here. She's just so great to talk to, and I think she has a lot of great things to say. And I think that a lot of times we have these conversations, me and her, and I was like, man, I wish that people could hear this, just being honest. But with this conversation coming to a close, I wanted to segue into our announcement because it actually has something to do with what we were just talking about. And I know that as I like took this little hiatus, I decided that I didn't want to show up in this podcast space if I couldn't just like fully be me. And when you live life more, every day you live life more, you learn more, you gain more wisdom and knowledge about life and what your life is. So I just felt that I wanted to talk about more than just dance. And I wanted to like stretch beyond dance parents because I do have so much to talk about to dance parents. Yes. And we will still do that. But I also felt in holding Summer of Purpose and holding Purpose University and doing guest choreography and just working in the college space. I felt like I had a lot more things that came up that I was like, oh my gosh, this would be so helpful for somebody
Mm.
or, oh, I wish we could talk about this. And so I want to open it up to dancers, studio owners, teachers, dance parents, anybody who is in the dance field, but also people who are creative. And, people who just want to hear some encouragement or people who want to connect to other purposeful human beings. This is why I decided we changed it from dance chats to purpose chats. And we started with purpose chats when we were first talking about, we're going to do a podcast. And then I felt pressure like, but then I don't know if people are going to understand. So I'm going to take it to dance chats. And then, and then as we are going along, I was like, man, I feel like I'm trying to fit in this like niche that God
Mm.
has like busted open. He has me in these different spaces for a reason. And I want to make sure that I'm being authentic to who he's called me to be. And so if I'm not showing up as myself, then I am not really helping the people who are assigned to my life. And
Mhm.
and if the people that, I've been assigned to were themselves, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So that is why we are going to be moving forward into Purpose Chats podcast. And
Yay.
I'm so excited because we're not just going to be talking about dance. Like, we will obviously be talking about majority of dance because, hey, hello.
Mhm.
But I want to sprinkle some other things in there, messages of hope and life in all aspects. And so I hope that you will stay tuned and continue on this journey with us. I'm really excited. This, like, when we finally made the change, I was like, wow, I feel like God has just opened up a whole new vision for me. And like, I just got excited again. And I just felt like I saw the vision clearer. So thank you for being on this journey. We love you guys so much. And as we wrap up, Miss LaDuca, what is something that you're hoping for yourself and something you're hoping for the dance community?
Oh, um, let's see. Something that I'm hoping for myself is to continue to be more open and intentional with the platform that God's given me, because all of a sudden I just gained this big following on TikTok, and I just like really want to spread like joy, love, and positivity, but also showcase the bad stuff too, because when you look at social media and people on it, you see the highlight reel of their life. Um and I really just want to be more authentic and honest when I'm moving in those spaces, because I do feel like I have such a responsibility to the young people who are looking at me. And I think but that's what I love about it. I think that's what
Hmm.
I've been called to do. So I definitely want to walk in that more, a little less fearful, like to just really, really do that. And one thing I'm hoping for the dance community would probably be more intentional ways of training and
Mm,
more intentional ways of moving, and to maybe get um work more on our artistry, but as a community together, because I feel like on conventions and things like that, I see a ton of dancers dancing in a room and in a space, but they're not dancing together.
no.
They're just dancing like almost against one another, and that's not like the beauty of dance is the togetherness of it, where so many
Hmm.
different people from different walks of life can come together and they have that one thing in common, which is their love and their passion for dance. And I think if we focus on that and celebrate that, we can grow much more together.
Oh, we love that. Oh, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing your heart and thank you for being with us today. Katie will definitely be like a regular guest, guys, because come on. Why not? But thank you so much for listening, everyone. I really appreciate your time and for tuning in and for being on this journey with us. And if no one told you today, you are loved, you have purpose within you, and lots of love. Till next time.
Well, Dance Fam, once again, my name is Ashley Rich, and I want to thank you for listening to Dance Chats, the podcast that helps dance parents navigate their child's dance journey with wisdom, grace, and purpose. To connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at Dance Chats Podcast or on my website, www.arichdance.com. I have so many offerings that have been built to help dancers become their best, so check it out. Until next time, lots of love.